Sports are back, and so is our body's abilities to actually produce adrenaline again. I'm sure you guys can attest to this as well. Quite possibly the best news that we have heard in such a long time, and words that we have just ever so been starving for. Sports are back. Before I get too deep, though, I just want to give out the proper welcome to my latest podcast episode. We are now on to summer season of sports. So baseball, crack it of the bat, strike three, even hot dogs, and other delicious baseball snacks, whatever you like to eat. They are coming at a full return pretty quickly here. And now that it is that time of the year, I'd like to bring you guys on for what I like to call the 2020 summer series of the podcast. And so basically, we'll have a summer series for next summer, the summer after, and however many summers there is for requirement of how long I'm in college for. So yes, welcome to episode 1 of the summer series. The Minot Sports Podcast is a production of KMSU TV and Radio, despite that we are still recording at home and the studio is not in use yet, although let's hope we can get back in there eventually. So I said it earlier, baseball. How exciting is it to know that the Minot Vistas, where the Legion organizers canceled the season due to the coronavirus pandemic, well, the Babe Ruth League had other ideas. Thanks to them, we got baseball at Corbett Field this summer. And so, since the Vistas have a season, their earliest home game, their home opener, is set for June 6th, Saturday. Their first official game of the season will be on Friday, June 5th, versus Williston. Get hyped because the highlights will be plenty and local sports. It's going to feel great getting back into the mix. But I don't want to bore you guys of me just rambling on how awesome it is. I am here to tell you that, yes, of course it is awesome, but I also give you my 2 cents of sports information. So yes, the Vistas, full of the talent from the high school team, the seniors will be getting a part of their season back with this brand new league organized for games to be played. Gotta give thanks to the Lord for bringing in the Babe Ruth League. So the Vistas will be playing some ball, and their close neighbors playing at the same field, the Souris Valley Saberdogs of the Expedition League, they just announced a plan to return, not as early as the Vistas, but still coming very quickly here. Of course, they get a lot of fans there, so Corbett Field, the employees and the Saberdogs employees, all the organizers are working on to fix up a plan for how the seating chart is going to work out. Of course, with social distancing guidelines affecting everybody in such close proximity to each other. But hey, it's better than nothing. Gladly take it. And let's hope that we can still get, great cheers, some great fan presence out there. So how's that for a start to the summer series? Both the Vistas and Saber Dogs, although still having to figure out some other minor details, at least on the Saber Dogs end. There will be not just baseball, but local sports coming your way very quickly. So this isn't just good news for the teams, but this is also great news for all the local citizens and sports writers, all the sports business people that have been desperately awaiting for the return. Even we are excited, as you can tell. I will touch base on the Vistas because they are going to be the first ones playing. I said this is good news for the local people and the sports writers, but this is also great for the players because, like I said earlier, the seniors, they lost their high school season. They get a chance at redemption, and they're getting something out of it. Granted, it still sucks they lost their senior year. I think there's going to be a lot of motivation. I mean, not just for Minot, but there's going to be a lot of, excitement going around the state now that this is confirmed. But for the Vistas, great news for the seniors and all the other seniors outside of the city. For the Vistas, their first game is against Williston. Now, bear with me. I'm not familiar with Legion team names yet. So we're just going to go by their cities, if you will. But Williston is Minot's first opponent of the 2020, I guess we can call it Babe Ruth season, or I keep hearing the word Legion being thrown around here and there. Maybe it is fair to say it that way, but I won't go too deep into that. But Williston, the thing with them is, the last time, if I recall, back in the 2019 spring, is that for the high school team in the West region, yeah, you had the Bismarck teams, and Minot was up there for sure. But this might make you curious, because Williston was the other team that was up there in the standings. Yes, they were good. Williston High School, they definitely went hard on the baseball. And we got to be careful here because this is high school talent we're talking here for these soon-to-be Legion squads back again next year. They're probably going to retain most of their talent from last year's team, and so they're no guarantee. We're going to have to treat them as a force to be reckoned with. Of course, kind of got to do the same for any sort of underdog out there. Not saying that Williston is an underdog, but they know how to play ball. So for Minot, this will be a good test to open up the season. Heads up when you're on defense, because, like I said earlier, Williston, they can play some hardball. Any mistake you make can cost you. So Vistas versus Williston. First game of the new season, Minot will be on the road. And then the home opener for the Vistas will be against West Fargo. Having experienced watching a Minot High team that beat the Packers in the state tournament, hosted by, guess what, legendary Corbett Field, last year, and it was not much offense. Of course, Minot came out with the win, but they had to work for it. They had to grind out those 3 runs. So this team can play some hardball with you, except they're going to make you work for it on offense. I also hear West Fargo goes hard on the softball program too. So I guess the theme for this episode is we got some hard ballers coming up. And for the Vistas, it's going to be a grind working around those hard ballers. So then the home opener, set for Saturday. I've seen a few different start times of when the game will be beginning. So I think I'll just keep my mouth shut on that for now. And we'll just play it by ear. Okay? Sounds good? I think we can agree on that. So Vista's Ball coming at you live very, very quickly. So exciting. And then to follow, the Souris Valley Saberdogs of the still fairly new Expedition League. What a nice job done by Steve Wagner to get some baseball rolling for some sizable towns like Minot. The Saberdogs, we're kind of going to have to wait a little bit for them, but it shouldn't be too long of a wait. All sorts of baseball operations will be beginning June 26th. That is actually going to be on a Friday, so how'd you like to start your weekend like that? Schedule is unconfirmed at the moment, but when it does come out, of course, I will get that information out to you guys. So, get hyped. Finally, get to hear Crack of the Bat singing Take Me Out to the Ball Game, 7th inning, going out and getting your popcorn, your hot dogs, all your wonderful baseball snacks. It's all coming in. Sooner or later, people, we're going to see all sorts of sports opening back up. But we still got to be careful to be socially distant so that everything does not escalate. Unfortunately for the Expedition League, tough decision was made to have only 6 of the 10 teams playing due to coronavirus guidelines or restrictions still implied for certain states that these teams like to call home. It's a real bummer that we won't get to see them in competition, but that is what the league will be going with moving forward. So get excited for baseball. Just because it is the summer series does not mean we can't talk about other sports that don't happen in the summer season. Remember how I said this has been the off-season of coaching changes with Chauncey Hendershot, Shane Wagner, Brock Tietz, Brody Bosch, and then Alec Grothi not too long ago. Coaches need a sidekick on their side to help ingrain and polish their coaching styles and how to teach the athletes competing. Gotta make it look nice. For the Minotaurs, coming to join Shane Wagner at a full-time position, you might recognize his name, Wyatt Waslinchuk, already an assistant coach for the Toros, but he also was an assistant for MSU Beavers men's hockey. So he is taking that full-time position with the Minotauros. So he doesn't have to go too far, doesn't have to uproot any family. This is an opportunity that I think was carefully evaluated and something that I'm sure he will take with great pride. But for Coach Waslinchuk, he's going to be assisting Shane, having a say in for the goalies, for the power play, penalty kill units. He's going to set some marks in a lot of the minor details of how the players play, how they devise offensive and defensive schemes. Whatever it is that you can possibly think of for hockey, Coach Waslinchuk will have a say in it for Shane Wagner's coaching system. I think for Wyatt, having already been an assistant coach for a while, this will come just natural to him. So he knows what he's got to do. The players know him well. Heck, Shane also knows him well. This should be an easy transition. And I think with a tough division like the Central, how do these guys devise a plan to get the boys competing at a high level every night? Or I guess I should say every time they play, every weekend. They only play certain nights. But I think the familiarity factor, I think it's going to make it easier for the team. So then moving on from hockey to the basketball court, over at the Castle, where the Knights play, their coaching situation, I'd say, if I were to guess, I think this would look attractive for the players because Brock Tietz has found himself a young assistant coach who just so happened to play for the Knights, go to school there during his time. Noah Abel, a star guard for them, and with the connections he has to the players and to the school, see, there's that familiarity factor again. It's going to be an easy, smooth transition. But I think for Noah Abel, this is going to be a really popular pick for the players because they're close to each other. The age group, age limit, really close. This will really get the players going and having fun with someone they can learn from while also looking up to closely at the same time. I think the players are going to like this. It'll get them going, and they're going to be feeling really good about it and going back to that familiarity. This will be a good setup for the Redeemers Knights basketball team, the boys team, going forward. And I like this one. So, congrats to Noah. Congrats to Coach Waslinchuk. Both are definitely looking at bright futures for sure. And right there, I will call that episode 1 of the summer series. As always, the Minot Sports Podcast is a production of KMSU TV and Radio, sponsored by Joshua Strong Photography, so good at what he does, and also MSU Red and Green newspaper. Ladies and gentlemen, sports are back, and it feels good. I'll talk to you later. Have a good day.